very clearly crashing out once again on the timeline in an effort to desperately get people to pay attention to him. But it seems like in that process, one of his collabs pulled. Numerous famous celebrities have finally unfollowed him. And Kai Cenat, who was supposed to do a collab with him, said this.
I'm gonna go ahead and address the elephant in the room. I seen the tweets. I don't know what's going on, bro. I think it's GG's.
He doesn't. What do you mean you don't know what's going on? He did this before, you know.
Hey,
the second time he's doing it.
I think it is GG's. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think, bro, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course it's GG's. And the thing is, I have a different approach to it. His mental illness certainly played a major role in making him vulnerable and more susceptible to Nazi influence. Candace Owens played a big role in, I think, Kanye West's like radicalization. Having said that, however, this is the second time. This is the second go at it. And I think at this point, it's very obvious. It's fairly obvious that it's not because of just like the mania that comes in and out of Kanye West's life, but also I think he's doing it for attention. Like, it's just like a child that needs attention and cries and poops in his diapers. That's what he's doing. Like, he's just very clearly trying to sell some product. And if you can't do it because of your creative skills, what do? You go for the lowest common denominator. That's it. The lowest common denominator is saying shit that people will pay attention to negatively. Okay. 14-year-old kids do this exact same thing all the time. Like, literally this exact same thing. Screaming the racially charged, racist-ass bullshit. That's it. He's like an angry baby. He hit every part of the political spectrum. I will say nothing bad or against China. They always showed me love. When Americans turned their backs on me. Who's your top 5 baddest bitches of all time? My wife, my wife, my wife, my wife. My wife demoralizes bitches. I change my mind when I feel like it. If you see anyone around me, know that they are providing a service. Friends are for kids. I used to be broke. Now I can't relate to brokenness and don't want to. All white people are racist. I'm happily out of touch. Gerard Carmichael is funnier than Dave Chappelle. I miss you, family, and I'm sorry if I ever said any gay jokes in front of you, not knowing you was gay. You are one of the most brilliant people. And yes, I said I miss you, knowing people will try to flip that. He's finally crossed the line. Kanye is not being a contrarian. If he was, he would be a communist. The ultimate contrarian under a capitalist system. Being a Nazi and spewing Nazi views just reinforces what capitalist fascist collaborators want to do. Dude, no, I don't think you understand. He is just simply doing what he thinks is the edgiest thing you can do. This is his perspective on what he believes is edgy. That's it. It's a desperate ploy for attention from an old man who is nearing 50 years old, who unfortunately for many of his fans and himself has not contributed to the culture in meaningful and relevant ways in quite a while at this point. And I think that bricked his brain. He already was like very obviously not all there, and surrounded by sycophants who lean into his worst motivations, who allow him to go crazy like this. He's just basically popping off, desperately trying to garner as much attention as he possibly can. And we're kind of giving it to him, but not in the way that he wants it to happen. You know, that's it. He was saying all this stuff behind closed doors, and then he's now voluntarily revealing this stuff now. So the reality of the matter is, this is kind of the trajectory that Kanye West has been on for almost the past decade. Hasan, thank you for not feeding the narrative that Kanye's acting like this due to bipolar 1 disorder. I was diagnosed with it in 2017. No, the only thing that contributes to it is like, it obviously, when you're bipolar, yes, you are more vulnerable, more susceptible to outside influences like this, but it's still him doing it. You know what I mean? He's like, not everyone with bipolar disorder that goes out and becomes a Nazi, okay? Like, people actively work to control their urges. And I think that Kanye West, especially given the media blackout that he engaged in his spiraling in the past, like, this is not the first time he's doing it. This is the second time he's doing it very publicly, okay? And the stakes are constantly raised. So obviously there is a separate narcissistic tendency here where he obviously wants to garner attention by doing this. It's not because he's bipolar, although that feeds into him being vulnerable, I think, especially alongside his narcissism and his tendency to push away people that are like criticizing him or critical of him in his own orbit. that try to reach out to him and preserve his mental sanity. It's clear that, especially considering the times where he hasn't behaved like this prominently, and the suspicious nature of how he came out recently again and started popping off like this again right before he decides to like release an album or sell some merchandise or whatever, it shows me that he's doing this for a very specific, very deliberate, very nefarious purpose, which is to garner more attention. On the one hand, it's incredibly dangerous to normalize this kind of rhetoric. That's one. Number two, he does have this ideological leaning for sure. Okay? Make no mistake. But the reason why he's coming out like this is not because of mental illness, even though that is a contributing factor. The reason why he's coming out like this is because he wants attention, and he doesn't know how to get it with his art. He doesn't have motion anymore. He can't dictate fashion trends. He can't dictate music trends. He's completely far removed from rap as a medium. His artistic expression is not up to par. Like, I feel like if you made him listen to like a one Osama song or whatever, he would snap back to reality almost. Like, it would break his brain so hard. Like, a lot of where rap is going right now with, you know, underground artists and underground music. No, not Bin Laden, man. Osama's son. Like one Black Boy Max collaboration stream would just destroy his brain. And it's interesting because he also recognizes that as well to a certain degree, because I saw him tweeting about how he just like doesn't listen to rap anymore because it's lame. He only listens to Wagner. Like, here, this in and of itself shows that this doesn't garner the same level of attention anymore because it's not even special. Now, obviously, I look at that as a broader problem, a cultural problem, a societal problem that is really consequential and really significant, will genuinely lead to a lot of issues down the line. But having said that, ultimately, you ain't special. I mean, these guys are getting hired. Guys with opinions like this are getting hired to the federal government right now. He's a stake rage bait Twitter account in celebrity form. Yeah. My point is, all of that requires some kind of forethought, you know? But he's got none of that anymore. He's not interested in making something unique or different, okay? He is interested in rage baiting. That's it. You know what the worst part is? The album gonna suck? Yeah, 100%. If he could rest on his laurels, he wouldn't be doing this shit anyway. That's it. What do hacky ass comedians do when they don't have good material, when they feel like they're out of touch? What do? They hit the exact same button. They try to be as edgy as possible because that drives reactions. Okay, if you're desperate for attention, you can always hit that cancel culture vein. You can always say like edgy shit. To be honest, this shit's incredibly sad. Bro has kids. Yeah, that's the other side of the story, which is like he's 50 years old. He has children at this point who can see him doing this kind of stuff. And it's just like, it's so lame. It's so corny. It's so sad. I don't know. I mean, he is just actively manic posting on the timeline up and down. He's about to be 50 soon and he's still doing this stuff. Yeah, there's not really much else I can say about it.